Shorty!
What's crazy is I only fought initially, well, for two reasons. One, because my father, gang upbringing, wanted me to fight. It just so happened that I had to learn how to defend myself against my very aggressive father that, if you want to say, had kind of like a tough learning type of thing. And I learned a lot very fast, to say that. And then my brother being 8 years older, naturally had to learn how to defend myself. But then also 90s era kid, Attitude Era in wrestling, Dragon Ball Z became popular, all this anime came out, Power Rangers was really popular. So for me, I wanted to fight. Jackie Chan, Bruce Lee, anything I watched on TV was aggressive, so naturally I was fighting Ninja Turtles, all that stuff. So I was like, man, Michelangelo from Ninja Turtles can do it. I see these people as role models, let me be like them, and the only way I know how is to fight for good. So for me, I want to leave the legacy that I fought everyone that had a name, everyone that I could possibly fight. I fought at 2 weight classes. I tried to fight at 3 when I was in my first promotion when I went pro. I tried to claim as many belts as I could, and for me, I wanted to show not just myself, my neighborhood, my family, and everyone around me that if this shorty can do it, why can't you?
Awesome, awesome. That's great. That's great. I really like to hear these kinds of things because at the end of the day, people sit back and they see fighters, athletes in combat sports and they're like, oh, this violence. There's nothing good about it. When at the end of the day, from my experience, persons who are in the combat sports never even get into fights or anything on the street. They're the chillest guys, they're the coolest guys. When they get in the cage, they have a switch. That's different. But outside of that, there's so much that goes into personal development, social development, and you're definitely a star in that area in being able to give back and contribute to the betterment of other persons and their lives. So that hats off to you, man. Hats off to you.
Oh,
That's really
thank
an
you.
awesome thing.
Oh, I appreciate that, but the biggest thing for me is, I didn't come from the best neighborhood. I definitely wasn't the poorest. And then obviously traveling to different countries, I'm like, man, being poor in the US is almost a privilege in certain, in other countries,
Mhm.
so being able to help out different people and you look at it even just in the past, fighting is a poor man's sport.
Yeah,
Whether it was the gladiators that were in a sense slaves or even the slaves in the US, they were fighting to literally make it out or not have to work certain jobs. They would like, you know what, man, let me fight. I'll make money. This person likes me, and I'll be taken care of. Or, for example, in the states now, fighting is a poor man's sport. Most people who fight aren't the most educated, or they come from the hood. They are people who literally are fighting to make it out and be better. You look at Deontay Wilder, had no
yeah,
money, was in the ghetto, and his daughter needed surgery. He's like, hey
yeah.
man, let me fight. And he ended up being so good so fast. And now he's a multimillionaire, helping not just his family, but other people and being an inspiration. So if I'm able to do that and help people make it out of their neighborhoods and do more, or even be a little light in their neighborhood and go, man, if I could do it, then why can't you? I want to be able to help spread other role models, in different countries, and hopefully they can do the same thing.
And that's awesome. That's awesome. You said earlier about traveling to different countries. You've been to so many different countries, different time zones. What are the challenges that you face when doing all these kinds of travels, getting ready for fights, trying to coordinate all the things that you're doing?
It sucks. It sucks. Like for example, I don't have a fight planned, but I'm now in a sense starting my training camp, trying to get back in shape. My face is nice and poofy, so after this, I have to go for a run. But um, for example, I didn't the last 2 weeks. I was in 6 different countries. I started in Mexico, went to Miami, Florida, USA. Then I went to Europe. I was in Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, and Poland doing stuff for U.S. military, just
What
helping
country were you
teach and
in when
just
I called you, when I checked you first?
one of those four, probably
Okay.
Lithuania or I was everywhere. And then after that, went back to the US. And then a day later, just got back here and I got
Ah,
back yesterday. So I'm exhausted. And coincidentally, because of being Mexican Independence Day, I went to go walk to the gym. I was like, cool, I'm gonna run, walk into the gym, helps to get my 15,000 steps in. And when I get to the gym, I'll run, I'll do bag work, I'll sauna, and then I'll walk back home. And I got to the gym and the gym was closed because
okay.
of the holiday.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, well, I'll go home and I'll run. And maybe halfway on the walk back, I'm like, oh, I'm dying here. Like like it hit me. And it's a jet lag because do you think about it, I was in 6 different countries. That's possibly six different time zones, you know? And then the schedule was very, very different because I'm traveling to different countries. Every drive was 4 hours. Every flight from the US to, I believe it was Warsaw, Poland, was 12 hours, you know? So all the jet lag. And then I get home one day and then I have to go back to Mexico. So it gets very, very difficult. And then immediately landing to go straight back to training. It's exhausting. So, when you see these high level fighters being champions, like they're champions for a reason. It is extremely difficult to travel, train, do interviews, to do all these things, and then also try your best if you have a family to have a social life with your
Yeah.
family as well. So it becomes very, very difficult. And I think that's the hardest part for most athletes because they're not so social, or it is more, to me, I believe this stuff, even though this is easy, it's more exhausting than actually training because training we do every day. This is something
Yeah.
in a sense we're ready and ready for. But it's like when you travel so much, it's almost like you're getting sick. Your body just feels tired. You feel fatigued. Even though you can do it, you're like, I just want to lay down. I don't want to do anything. But the job requires you to do it. So when you're a professional MMA fighter, you have to really organize your life and figure things out. Literally before this, I was on my phone for like 3 hours talking to different promoters, different fighters, different events that I'm trying to work with. And then I'm like, okay, cool. I'm gonna do my interview from maybe 1 to 2 o'clock, and then after this, I gotta go grab some food, and then I'm gonna walk to the gym, work out. Okay, what am I gonna do? 2.5 hours. Then I'm gonna walk back. What time's that gonna be? Okay, cool. It's gonna be this time. Then I have to make my own personal calls to stay social with my family, my
Yeah.
friends.
Yeah.
So. Um, you have to really organize your life because if not, it'll fall apart very, very fast.
And I was saying that to my girlfriend. I was saying I'm so grateful to Shorty because I know how challenging and how difficult it was. And when you gave me that time, I'm like, I'm not going to reschedule. I don't care what I have to do. I don't care if I have a client. I'm going to cancel. I'm going to have this interview because I know at the end of the day he's probably in camp. And when his head is down, he will not have any time to do any of this kind of stuff.
Oh, I appreciate it.
I was so
It,
grateful for
I,
that.
I appreciate, but I am. It's crazy because I don't know why, but I've always been the type of person for interviews. Let's do it. Like I'll be dead, 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 and then I get in front of the camera, like, hey, and then literally the camera turns off. I'm like, all right, let's go back to bed. But it's part of the job.
Yeah.
I remember my very first fight. I didn't know this. I thought we were supposed to take every single interview, and I felt bad if I said no, or I had to reschedule, or I had to move it to a certain time. That's why I was like, dude, just call me, let me know when you're free, and then I'll work around your time and figure it out. But I remember I was in my pro debut, and I can't remember how many interviews I did, but it was in the 30s. And the guy who was the PR guy for the promotion called me. He goes, Shorty, I just want to say I love you because you literally have never said no to anything, and you've made my job super easy. You've actually done more interviews. And I was the very first fight of the night, so it wasn't like I was a main event or on the main card. I was the very first fight of the night for my pro debut. He goes, you've done more interviews than the entire main card. And I was just
Wow.
like, what? These guys, I was like, hold on, wait, we don't have to do these interviews? I could say no. Oh, I didn't know that. I just did, I would sit in my car, do an interview, and run straight to practice right after and figure it out, So I think if you're motivated enough, you'll do it. But then plus two things. One, this is publicity for both of us.
Yeah.
So if it helps me, amazing. If it helps you, even better. So it's a process to where why not?
Yeah.
It's not going to make things worse. Make the time to do it, and it's going to help more than just yourself. So why not and see where it goes?
That's really great. That's really great. But with all of that, Surely, what drives you? What motivates you? You literally explain that it's so tough. They must have some inherent desire because, I mean, many people can't even survive doing all that.
It's crazy because I actually say it to myself all the time, like, why do I do this sport? Especially when my father eventually passed away. I'm just like,
My
dude, what do I
condolences.
even do this sport still? Thank you. I'm like, why do I even do this sport still? Like, he's not alive. I'm not fighting for him. And then later on, it's like, well, I want to continue the legacy. Plus, I'm already halfway in my career. Like I'm at that point where, yes, I could technically retire now, but then, damn, what am I going to do? Like, yeah, I could be a coach, I could be a manager, I can do a lot of things, but I looked at it when I was very, very depressed when my father passed away and trying to figure out my life that when I was training, whether I was going for a run or trying not to get punched in the face, it took my mind away. It was like my free time. And actually, real quick story was when I knew my father was going to pass away, he had surgery. Eventually they go, hey, we think you should pull the plug eventually. I was like, okay, well, I'm in Florida. My family's in Chicago. Let me buy a flight. The next flight was in like 5 hours. So I was like, okay, cool. I told my mother, I was like, hey, if he passes, obviously let him go. If I'm gonna fly home and we can pull the plug together, but my flight's in 5 hours. So I was like, man, let me I don't want to be in my room crying. So
Yeah.
let me just go downstairs and be semi-social, but at the same time while sparring. So I was like, I want to spar. Why not? My father loves me fighting, let me spar. And so I go downstairs and I remember I was at American Top Team and I was training with Pantoja.
Okay. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
all the team kind of saw me very, very different. One of my friends, she's like, "Are you okay?" And she saw a tear come down, and then she gave me a hug, and people were like, "Dude, you don't hug people." And so all the guys were like, "Dude, what's up?" And then, I was like, "Oh, my father's gonna pass away," and they're like, "Oh, go upstairs, like relax." I'm like, "No, I want to train." And I remember I was sparring with Pantoja, and he has a shirt off. He's super sweaty. I have my shirt off, super sweaty. And we went hard for 5 rounds. We had a great time.
Awesome.
And right when that final bell went off, Pantoja just looks up and he's like, "Brother," and I'm just like, "Ugh." And then gave me a hug, and we're both all sweaty. Just finished punching each other in the face. But that entire time sparring, I didn't think about my father. I didn't think about life. I didn't think about any problems. I thought about just having fun. And in that moment, I was training. And then after, I was like, "Oh, damn, I'm back in reality." So for me, I noticed through all that training and fighting was my way out. Even though I don't like hurting people and I've never enjoyed that stuff, training and it's in a sense all I know because I've been doing this since I was a little kid.
Yeah.
My mom did sports and martial arts. My father was a fighter and a goon in the streets. My brother did all the same things. So for me, I always knew fighting. So I was like, man, worst of the worst, let me use this career to eventually open up a gym. Let me build my resume more. Let me save money. Let me keep on, winning belts and do what I can and see what I can do by the end of my career, how much more I can achieve because I feel I can do so much more. I feel I can be in UFC. I feel I can be a rising champion or brave champion and all this champ. But I want to be able to fight. That's also why I'm always the promotion's like, "Oh, I want to play. Like, let me in. Don't let me sit out because time is passing."
Yeah.
So, I'm just waiting. And sorry for all the Jets. I think they're celebrating outside.
Oh, that's okay.
Um, but for me, man, I think I fight just because I want a better future.
Yeah.
Not just for my possible future family, but I know the more I fight, the more I'm able to inspire people and motivate people. It sucks, dude. I've had like 4 broken fingers. I've had a broken hand, surgeries on my knees. I've had multiple broken toes. Multiple concussions, lacerations, and I'm going to, knock on wood, receive more. I don't want to, but it's part of the sport. I want to do this as long as I can because I know if I quit now, when I'm 38, when I'm 39, I'm be like, "Oh, I want to do it again," but I'm not going to be anywhere of what I was, and I'm only going to be worse.
Yeah.
So for me, I want to keep on doing it until my body goes, "You know what, man, you can't do it anymore." And now let me use all the knowledge I can. Hopefully my foundation's bigger and I'm able to open up my own gym and start to help people, not just in my neighborhood, but around the world like I've been trying to do already. So that's my motivating factor. I don't have my own personal family, so I'm trying to help people, where I can. And me fighting and training actually helps do that. So again, I'm becoming the in a sense role model or hero that I've always wanted to be.
And I love the point that you made about when you sparring Pantoja and he came to give you that embrace, that hug, that brotherly love. But the mere fact that at the end of the day, when you're doing martial arts, when you're sparring, when you're in the cage, everything disappears. You're
Hmm.
forced to live in the now because you have this person in front of you, whether it's sparring or it's an actual competition, you have this person in front of you and all your worries and everything just kind of melt away. And I think that's one of the things that really attract us back to the sport. What do you think?
Yeah, I think sparring or training for the most part kind of reminds me of skydiving. And if you
Yeah.
haven't been skydiving, please do it. Skydiving is one of those things to where or even a roller coaster, you think about it all the time. You're like, man, I think I want to do it. And then you get there, you're like, damn, I kind of don't want to do it anymore. And then you get there, you start going through the process. And in the beginning, it's like, oh man, this kind of sucks. Like, this is scary. And then you get through it and you're like, man, this is awesome. This is a lot of fun. I don't think about anything. I'm having fun. I'm enjoying myself. And then when you get off the ride, you're like, I want to do it again. And then you get back to it and you're like, the anxiety builds up again. And it's a whole process. So for me, it's like skydiving. I remember thinking about it so much, and then I finally jumped out of the plane, and the very first few seconds, it's scary. You're like, ah! And then you just see the world, and you're like, I forgot about all my problems.
Yeah.
I'm just enjoying the now. And even though it is scary, again, sparring is scary. You could, dude, you can end up disabled. You can end up very hurt. You can end up cut or change of plans. So for me, it is scary, but I think it's a fun thing to one, know that you're doing something that people wish they could do, or knowing that other people would kill to be in your position. So for me, it's let me anything you do and worth having is gonna be hard and it's gonna be very, very tough. But I think for me, it is like that, like they say, have a job that feels like it's not a job, that you're just having fun. For
Yeah.
me, this feels very, very normal to me. And I think working a 9 to 5, even though I know I could do it, oh, I would dread having to wake up super early. Again, I'm not a morning bird. So waking up at 7 in the morning just to go to work at 9 to 5, oh, I don't want to do that. So for me, I'd rather get punched in the face, enjoy myself, and go through the pain that I need to, because that has its pain as well. For me, I think this is a sacrifice that I is a little more willing to take. But yeah, it gives me a sense of freedom, if you want to say. And I get to be the anime, star that I want to be, especially now fighting in Japan. It's a good time.
Oh, now that's what I wanted to touch on next. I wanted to touch on the fact that your last fight was in the anime capital of the world, and I know you love anime. Sorry, I'm a geek, I'm a nerd. I love anime too. What was that experience like? I mean, firstly, what's your favorite anime? Must be,
I mean, for sure, I'm biased. Dragon Ball Z, because it was the very first anime that got big in the States. So I'm biased. So that's nostalgic to me. No matter
I
what, it
know.
will always be my favorite anime.
That's mine
I
too.
think next would probably be Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, because the story, the philosophy, the politicals, everything about it is phenomenal. And truth, and again, I've watched that maybe 5 times, and I'm still learning stuff from that show. But anime to me, especially during COVID, I was like, oh,
Yeah,
Netflix is putting more anime on. I finally got Crunchyroll, stuff like that. Um, Anime to me, I wouldn't say saved my life, but definitely put me on the right path, a lot of things, because it has anime compared to cartoons. Cartoons are fun, they're great, but anime has philosophy behind it. There's always a meaning behind something. Goku always trying to better himself. Vegeta believing he's privileged and trying to work for more, and his pride pushing him to do so much things and not letting people get better than him. Gohan being the beautiful kid that he is, that doesn't want to fight, but look how much strength he has, and he's going to fight for the people he needs to fight for when he needs to. There's so many things about it. Again, Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood has so many
yeah,
philosophies behind it. Or you look at Death Note. Death Note's a whole different philosophy of, if you've seen it, it's a kid who has the power of, in a
hmm
sense, a demon, to write the name of someone and, in a sense, to murder them or kill them.
yeah,
So he tries to be the good guy, but literally, was it Aristotle who said it? It's like absolute power corrupts
yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
So this kid literally becomes the good guy trying to do good things, and eventually gets corrupted in his
And became the
power
bad
and
guy.
his strive to be more and to do more. Even though he believes he's doing good the entire time, he's becoming the person that he was actually trying to end in the first place.
Yeah.
So it's again the whole Batman thing. You either die the hero or live long enough to become the villain. So anime to me, dude, it's look at, I mean, even like my
Yes. I know.
phone
That's what I'm
case and all
saying.
these different things, like everything is anime based. So if people haven't watched it, please give it a shot, because it will change your life, and there's always an anime for someone.
And I tell people, anime is not cartoon. Cartoon is just dumbfounded entertainment. Anime has themes, it has stories, it has inspiration, it has the character development that makes you connect with people and see most times the ability to overcome any challenge. I mean, I was talking to another buddy of mine, and we were talking how One Piece has literally, the Jolly Roger has now become a sign of freedom in some places like the Philippines. I mean,
Hmm.
Bleach is considered to be one of the most influential animes. Dragon Ball Z, which is one of the things I grew up in, it got me into to martial arts. It got me into bodybuilding because I wanted to look like Goku. I'm sorry. I wanted those abs. I want
Hmm.
that body. And it's just so much to wanting to better yourself, something that wants makes you want to better yourself. It's just really inspiring for me anyway.
I mean, it's a good show. I mean, you look at Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah.
Cowboy Bebop is about dealing with your past.
Yeah.
I'm a person that literally regrets almost everything I do in life. So Cowboy Bebop was a great show to help me realize stuff that I was kind of going through, traumatic wise or trauma wise, how to deal with my past, how to figure things out, and know that there's other people that are going through the same thing and driving forward, but looking in the rearview mirror. So there's I mean again I can go on about different anime philosophies and my favorite shows, but being in Japan and obviously now having purple hair and having
Yeah,
fun with it, it was just so much fun and they're so respectful. It is ridiculous. I'm now like I'm a celebrity in Japan. Like I go home, people know me like, "Hey, Shorty, how you doing?" No, in Japan, people are running to take photos and like have a signature by me or
I
get a
saw that.
sticker. It's dude, it's crazy. And I mean, it's for me as a fighter, I'm not saying I want people to love me and do all these crazy things for me, but to have that, it's like dude, this is awesome because I'm literally going in there trying to entertain someone.
Yeah,
And technically, I lost the fight, even though I thought I won and they believed I
I
won as
thought you won.
well.
I'm sorry.
They're coming and thank you. They're coming out of the way to support me and show their respect and go, man, we want you back. And even though you lost, like you had an entertaining fight and we hope to see you again. It's like, dude, that's awesome. Thank you. You know, people usually only go for the winners. So it is a really cool thing. And hopefully I'm able to fight Ryzen again soon.
I mean, you mentioned two already, but top five anime. Your top five.
Ah, that's a hard one.
I know.
That's a hard one. So it all depends. I mean, there's a lot of new but short anime happening right now that are good. Like Demon Slayer is good, but I have my, my thing. Same thing with Kaiju Number 8 and all these different shows. But favorite anime, Dragon Ball Z, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, Yu Yu Hakusho. I wish I
Definitely.
watched that when I was a kid,
Oh yeah.
and I wish it had a better ending, but that was just because of the whole creator. Same creator, Hunter x Hunter. I think is a phenomenal show, great philosophies, and I relate a lot to Gon, where he's good and slowly kind of turns dark,
Yeah.
or does all these crazy things gets put into reality, if you want to say. And I think my last one would be Digimon.
Really?
When I was a kid, Digimon was huge. Or let me rephrase that. Digimon was on Fox Kids,
Yeah. Yeah.
which
It
was a
was. Yeah.
network in the States. And it was, showing Pokemon, it was showing Digimon, Power Rangers. So that's how I got introduced to a lot of things. But Digimon to me, I was always, even now, like, even though Pokemon is so much more popular, um, and in a sense, fan entertaining, Digimon always just stuck to me. I enjoyed the story more. I enjoyed the characters more, all the transformations. All my dog at home is actually named Agumon, which is the main
Really?
character's, Digimon. So for
Very cool.
me, like I love Digimon. If Digimon was more popular, it would be even better because there'd be a lot more T-shirts and fan made stuff. But Digimon for me over Pokemon, even though I enjoy and love Pokemon, Digimon for me was an amazing thing, and I always related to Tai and the Crest of Courage and pushing forward and try to be better.
I find Digimon was a lot grittier. That's what it was for me. It was just so gritty.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was really awesome.
it was a very good show, and it's funny because they're still making more, but season three just turned super dark towards the end, and you're like, "What the hell am
Oh
I
yeah.
watching?" Like even as a kid, you're like, "They're showing this to kids." Oh, they're talking about suicide and all these things on a kid-based network. Like Demon Slayer, even though it looks very kiddish, yeah, people commit suicide and
Yeah.
hanging themselves and all these crazy things. So it is very more adultish, just in a cartoonish based like anime format, if you want to say. But it turns dark. I mean, even Hunter x Hunter started off really for kids, and it starts bringing in the sense of their version of the mob, and then the ant arc and people eating each other, and it's like, oh my gosh, like what's happening? So it's a crazy thing.
Really awesome, awesome. But segueing back into the martial arts, what can you say to inspire somebody who is interested in doing the martial arts? They're not 100% there yet, but they want to dabble in it. Is it something you can dabble in, or is it something that you just have to go full blown into it? What could you say to inspire that person to get them started?
If you're doing it as a hobby, dabble, but make sure in your mind that it's a hobby. Because if you 100% want to do the sport, you need to be 100% in it. And this is the sad part is we could all have the skill of Anderson Silva or Demetrius Johnson or George St. Pierre, but they all have losses.
Yeah,
They all have been caught. They've all had their slip ups. So it doesn't matter how good you are. You can even be 100% on that day, something can happen and it changes. I've had fights where I'm like, man, I thought I was great or even thought I won, but it went the other way. So it's a hard sport that you can only control so much,
yeah,
so to a certain extent, but if you give 50%, you're only gonna get beat up. Like I promise you, there is always someone better out there. Even Mike Tyson in his prime days lost.
Yeah,
So the fact is, there's always someone out there better than you, bigger, badder, faster, whatever the case. But the if you don't train 100% for it, they will 100% beat you every single time. And also with this sport, and I tell people like, dude, you should. I think everyone should get a. There are at least one amateur MMA fight in, whether it's MMA, Muay Thai, boxing, because it teaches you kind of who you are.
yeah,
Man, am I a fighter? Do I want to do this? People don't know what they're into until they get punched in the face. And it's like, oh my gosh, no, I don't like this at all. So it is a very, very different sport, but I believe everyone should do it, learn self-defense. But the fact is, if you're gonna make it a hobby, make it a hobby. But if you're gonna do this, you have to dedicate your life to this. Because if you don't, you will 100% get in what you put into it. And if you
yeah,
put in 70%, you're not even going to get that. This sport is not about equivalent exchange. Again, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. It will hurt you,
yeah.
and you'll be scarred for life with multiple things, with actual scars or trauma from the sport. So 100% or nothing. Well, if you're going to do the nothing side, then cool. Just do it as a hobby, have some fun, maybe do some amateur competitions, but don't try to do this profession because you're just going to get in other people's way.
Fair enough, fair enough. And so now, moving from the last recent event, you wanting to jump back into Brave CF, what does the future hold for Jose Shorty Torres?
I do not know. I really don't know. I've already
And that's
reached out to the
okay.
promoters. No, and then that's the hard part about me, at least in my career, and a little more personal. My contract stuff is I get paid very well from Brave, and that's awesome. I'm very happy about that. I've worked really hard to get to this point. The only problem with that is for people who don't know is every event, whether for Brave or UFC, all that stuff has a budget.
Yeah,
So that's why the UFC has, the bigger events have, two, three title fights, and then also a really, really big, main card or whatever the case may be. And the smaller fights have people maybe you don't know that are slowly moving up. So for me, I can't be on every card. If I can fight today, I would fight today, but it has to make sense to the promotion because they're the ones paying out of pocket. They're the ones
yeah,
paying me. I just put on the show, so not just for me to put on the show, but they also have to find someone high level enough for me to fight or that wants to fight me. A guy 0-0 makes no sense, but a guy who has 20 plus fights, they're also going to come with more of a paycheck,
yeah.
or more of an expense. So it becomes a process. So for me, I'm trying to fight November 7th. It's the biggest card that they're going to have. If I'm able to do it, amazing. If they don't want me on it or they're going to move me to a different event, then it is what it is. So for me, I'm waiting, I'm training, getting back to it and getting ready regardless. And we'll see what happens. But I'm trying to get back into it as soon as possible. Or if Ryzen has me back for December 31st, that would be amazing. But until then, that's the hardest part about this career is, like I told you, we only have so much time.
Yeah,
And if I could fight every day, dude, I'd make every single day worth it. I'm not at home and I'm in Mexico. My family's in Chicago.
yeah.
So I'm away from, my personal life, my social life, all this stuff. I seclude myself in my camps. I'm literally in my house all day. So for me, I want to live a life. So if I want to know when I'm fighting. So it's weird to be in this limbo of training, but then you have nothing to train for. Or I'm away from all these people to sacrifice. What am I sacrificing it for? Because there's nothing in front of me. So just waiting to see what happens next. And I'm hoping November 7th or 9th for Brave. But until then, I just stay training, stay ready, and try to be as positive as possible because it does get very dark at times. So it's a process to get beat up and not have any type of reward at the end of it.
Well, I'm looking forward to your next fight. Your fights are really entertaining and really inspiring. Not just the fact that I've actually met you in person and we've had conversations, but the fact that you have something that you're fighting for and you're giving back and you're contributing to society and you're contributing to yourself and you're an all-around good guy. I mean, everybody wants to see the good guy win. I know for me, for anime, I want to see the good guy win. So that's it for me. I really, really appreciate you taking the time out of your camp and your busy schedule to actually do this interview. And I look forward to a lot more great things from you.
No, I appreciate, bro. I appreciate the time, the anime talk for sure. And obviously about my personal life, and if I'm able to help in any way, I'm more than happy to. And I hope we can do this again very soon, and hopefully one day even in person in Guyana.
Of course, of course. Oh well, maybe if you can come to St. Lucia, that would be awesome.
And yeah, man, I'm waiting. I want to teach seminars and go everywhere. So if we're able to make it work, even better.
That sounds great. All right, guys. So this has been an awesome interview with Jose Shorty Torres, and look forward to seeing many more successes going his way. Thank you so much, Shorty. Thank you so much.
Pleasure.
Jose Shorty Torres!
Alright guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you could be notified of future videos and interviews. See you guys next time. Peace.